Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending our session this evening. My name is Luc Mercier. I'm the CAO for Yellowhead County. To my right is Mayor Wade Williams for Yellowhead County. To my left is CAO Christine Beveridge for the town of Edson, and to her left is Mayor Kevin Zahara for the town of Edson. We appreciate your time tonight, and although tonight's session may be a little shorter than others, we will be back tomorrow at noon, as well as tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. again to give updates on the fire situation in our region. We can tell you that during the day today, the forestry has been working on fire mitigation as we've mentioned earlier. They have, we'll speak about the fire close to Edson first of all, Fire 31. They've been working and kept the northern flank or the head of those fires stopped. Again, they've got a significant amount of resources on those. So that would be the Marlborough fire, the Marlborough finger, the finger south of Edson, as well as the one south of the Carrot Creek area. They have made the northern part stop, but they have widened out a little bit also. They've done a little bit of backburns, not maybe as much as they had anticipated, but they have had those happen today, so that's part of their mitigation strategy. And hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to give you a little bit more of an update on that. The Deep Creek fire, so that's in the Shining Bank, kind of north of Pierce area. They were not able to do any backburns today whatsoever, but hopefully tomorrow they will have the opportunity to do that. I can also tell you that we're a little bit on the worry side for the weather. We anticipated a lot of some rain coming tomorrow. That rain is no longer projected. It's not, a dire situation by any means, but the rain would have definitely been welcome. So that will just add to our firefighting needs, and we'll continue to work on that as best we can. I can tell you, as I said earlier, that we're very impressed with the resources and the staff that are working on this and managing the fire, and I think we're in the best hands that we can be. We got to remember that this is a disaster in our whole region with everything going on. So that's a quick update on the fire situation, and hopefully we'll be able to give you a little bit more detail into tomorrow. So with that, I will turn the session over to CAO Beveridge.
Thank you, Luke. So on the side of the reception center, I wanted to spend a little bit of time to speak about this tonight. It is located at the Edmonton Expo Center. One of the things is that I think it's really important that we highlight what services there are available there. One of the things is we don't need you to go to the center unless you need accommodations, or if you need other services. There's most definitely services that are available there, but essentially you could call just to register. So just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. There are food services available there to all evacuees. Even if you're not staying there, you can access food there. There's also the ability to have your insurance questions answered, as well as there are, I think, about 20 computers that you can actually use to be able to get your information with regards to all of our updates, as well as anything else with regards to the fires, as well as applying for your evacuation funds. Along with the accommodations, there's also the mental health support out there as well. So it's something that's really important, that there are a lot of services there. There's also pet care. So even if you're not staying there, you can actually drop off your pets. We understand that it's hard in a hotel to be able to actually go about your business and leave your dog or cat in the hotel. But there is that ability to leave them at the Expo Center in the care of animal control. We wanted to put a huge thank you to the City of Edmonton for all of the services that they're providing as well. So they have welcomed our residents with open arms, and we are very grateful for that. We've also been hearing that there's many City of Edmonton businesses. I know myself, I've seen, there's lots of opportunities within, even outside of Edmonton, outlying communities such as Spruce Grove offering free access to the Tri-Leisure Center, etc. So our residents having a place to go during this time it's been so appreciated, and we thank all of the communities that are helping us. I think that concludes my piece with regards to the reception center, but we do hope that that you're as comfortable as you can be in this time, and that's all I have for an update.
So with that said, unless the mayors have a little bit of an update?
I do have a little bit, yeah. So we took the opportunity today to have some of the news crews come into Edson here. We took them on a guided tour out to some of the fire lines, so they had the opportunity to have a first-hand look. And so our update will be on the news channels tonight, on CBC, CTV, Global. So if people want to watch that, it gives you a little bit better perspective of exactly what's going on here. So back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Just thanking everyone for their patience. We know how difficult this is, but it is a very dangerous situation still, and we're continuing to monitor conditions, obviously, and we hope everybody's doing well as we work through this together. As was said, we have a lot of resources here, a lot of people, a lot of communities that are providing support, so we really appreciate that. If you do need some help or you have questions, once again, I will repeat the phone number, 1-833-334-4630, and that's both for Town of Edson and Yellowhead County residents. If you require support, you have questions about road closures, please go to 511 Alberta.
Thank you, Mayor Zahara. So with that said, we will move on to the question and answer component of our session this evening.
Are there still being special access permits for pets? Are they being issued, and can they access through those?
The question was, are there special access permits for pets? And I'm assuming that has to do with Yellowhead County?
Yes. For the
and the question is, our permits are still being processed. We are trying our hardest to accommodate everyone. We know that some people are a little frustrated with the process. We have the staff, the resources answering the questions the best they can and issuing the permits. What we may not see on the other side of things is that there are people trying to abuse that system, not our residents, people that are outside, and we need to make sure that we protect our region, that we protect our properties, our residents' properties, and that we decipher through the people that go through our region in the evacuation time. You know, as far as our residents go and their need, we've massaged or moved our requirements around to accommodate different requests. We've had some from different, feedlots, different farmers have different needs for various reasons, and we're trying to do that while balancing our responsibility as a municipality to ensure that we don't intentionally allow people into a dangerous place. Some people perceive that with the fires maybe a little bit slower because of the weather and maybe just not quite the big flames coming forward, that things are safe. And although we're not trying to, fearmonger or make things there that aren't there, it is still a dangerous situation. That's the bottom line. The incident commander on scene that came on yesterday, very proficient man, and his team, and they have looked at this and said, wow, they've never seen anything like this. And in Alberta, I think I heard today that this is, we've broken a record for the amount of acres under fire. So it is dangerous. We're still working the best that we can to accommodate those. So back to the original question, we are permitting those within reason, and we're working our best to accommodate our residents' needs.
Is the evacuation order north of 572?
The question is the evacuation order north of 572 in Yellowhead County still in place? And the answer is yes. We, again, are balancing the needs of our residents and their safety with, as I mentioned 6-7 weeks ago, with balancing a property owner's rights to use their property. When we declare a disaster and we create an evacuation zone, we do affect the property owner's rights to use their property. We're very well cognizant and aware of that. We are trying to manage that as best as possible, and we want to get people home as soon as they can. We also have a responsibility as a municipality to ensure that we do that in a timely, efficient, effective, and responsible manner, and that those require us to speak with the incident commander to get their guidance on the emergency at hand and the severity of the danger that we're placed in. So we have not been able to lift our evacuation zone as of yet. I can tell you that we've talked about this, 10 times a day with our staff to make sure that we're doing what we feel is best based on the advice we're getting from the firefighters. So to kind of get back to the original question, we will be reanalyzing this tomorrow with the intent to open up what we can as soon as we can, and we will have hopefully a little bit of more information on that tomorrow at noon. I apologize for the long answer. It's just these aren't quick thoughts that go through the minds of all the people that make these decisions, and I'm trying to just give a little bit of information for some of the rationale behind the decision making. So again, to answer that question, it's not open yet. We hopefully will have some information on reducing some of the evacuation zones to the north part of Yellowhead County, hopefully tomorrow at noon or 8 o'clock at the latest.
Is there an anticipated opening date for Highway 16 opening?
The question is there an anticipated opening for Highway 16? All the reasons I just gave a few minutes ago pertain to the highways also. Maybe a little bit more to expand on that. The highways aren't just closed to keep people out. They're closed to allow fire operations the ability to do what they're doing. They have an enormous amount of resources trying to fight these fires, and because they're so close to the highway, they cannot be hindered by traffic. That's just common sense, and if there's traffic on those highways, they will hinder the operations. And the sky cranes, to my understanding, those large helicopters are holding something like 2,000 gallons of water, and if they hit anyone, it's not good news. Like, it would severely hurt someone. So we need to make sure that those areas are clear, and that includes the management of the 500 people and resources that are working on the fire scene. So that incident commander needs to manage all of that. The highway traffic cannot be a component of something that they need to consider in fighting the fires. So to answer the question directly again, we are looking at that as the days go on, and I know that we will be reanalyzing that in tomorrow and Wednesday morning as weather patterns change and as the firefighting efforts change and move on.
You addressed the re-entry date. Is the fire 1.5 kilometers away from Edson still?
Yes.
That's confirmed, yes.
Is there an update on the raw power situation?
The question, is there an update on the raw power situation? To my understanding, that was turned back on this afternoon about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, so the power should be back in both Rob and what I learned this morning in Catamount also had a power outage, so I think those are both back on now.
Okay, I did send some emails out this evening looking for some confirmation. I have not received confirmation back, so yeah, I was hoping to have it by this time, but I didn't get it.
What's being done to, is there going to be any extra guarding put in place, or what's being done to prevent another evacuation from occurring in the upcoming days and weeks once we get back?
The question is what is being done to avoid any future evacuations for our region in the days coming forward. Something we mentioned 6 or 7 weeks ago is we're not going to hold back any punches, and we're going to be just very honest with people. Our region is going to be fighting this fire until fall. That doesn't mean that we're going to be evacuating every day, but the potential is going to be there. These are extraordinary situations that we have not seen before. We have been told by the incident commander that we will be fighting these fires till fall. And so with that said, we cannot predict weather, we cannot predict the fire. We will let our areas come back and take the evacuation zones off. My guess right now, I'll put my neck out a little bit, is, from Yellowhead County's perspective, is there will be something that we all have to watch going forward for this entire summer. When we're able to come back to our homes, we will have to be cognizant that there could be another evacuation, because it is what it is. These fires could flare up again. There's no guarantee. The question on fire guards and those sorts of things that the incident commander are working with is they're doing what they can to stop this fire. They're focusing on the areas that are, have values, is what they call them, like our residents and our homes and our buildings and our structures. So they're focusing their guards and the different protection to avoid future fires. We just cannot give that guarantee.
And I think, just speaking on behalf of the town of Edson, I think that most definitely when the conditions allow for us to safely bring you home, that's when this will be ready for us to welcome our residents home. And until that time comes from the experts that are dealing with the fire, that are on the front lines, and like we mentioned that there's 500 people working on this in general, but that's when the town of Edson will consider bringing back residents to this community, is when the conditions are safe to do so.
If that's all for questions for tonight, we thank you once again, and we will see you tomorrow at noon. Thank you.